So let's go into this. As we start today, we're going to find out that a lot of these things are at the forefront of our minds. And this is why I covered things that are at the forefront of my mind as well. 2025, our current real estate market, buyers and sellers changing concerns, right? We're seeing it. Tariffs, effect on the real estate market. No, there's none of that. Higher mortgage rates and affordability. What's that look like? Our local market, more inventory than we've had in years. Builders incentives. These are the things we're gonna cover as we go through. So buyers and sellers changing concerns. Many sellers, I'm convinced, are still living in a fairy tale world, and more adjustments are coming. And what I mean by fairy tale world is sellers need to get real. They need to listen to us. We're the professionals with pricing. A lot of folks think that they can figure out more than we can because they're the smartest person in the room. Uh, just by looking at Zillow, Realtor.com, a lot of firms that run off of algorithms and aren't here in our local market every day. And it confuses people because they're looking at what's going on nationwide oftentimes, not local right here. And real estate is a local market. It just always has been. Buyers are having an affordability crisis. That's reality. When people are looking at rates and the pricing of home combined, a lot of them, and CDDs, HOA fees, these things that we've been talking about, it really all comes down to, for most people, what's my payment? And let's couple that with, maybe we get them into a new home and that payment changes. How's that happen? Well, their fees go up in the community if they're in a community, and it happens. It happens more than we'd like to believe, and you need to ask the agents in these various. We'll get into new homes too. How to avoid that, and or if they may come. So buyers are looking at various areas, and more are getting into new construction. That is exactly what we're going to talk about. So, why are they getting into new construction? We'll get there too. Buyers have many programs available, such as first-time home buyers, hometown heroes, nurses, doctors, firefighters. All of these things play into that. So should we not be going to some of the hospitals, some of the fire stations, posting information about this, asking if we can leave information? How many agents are actually out there working and doing these things? A lot of people know about these things, but very few market them. And the fact of the matter is, I've said this so many times, we're not salespeople, we're marketers. If we don't market ourselves, somebody else will, and they'll get the business. All right, tariffs. What's the effect of the real estate market on the real estate market? Well, building materials are up. It just is what it is. Many are coming out of Canada, especially lumber, and other countries for various components, even if it comes down to appliances, things like that. The builder's material costs are going up. And of course, there's volatility in what's going to happen with these tariffs. Are they staying up? Are they staying down? We've had friends in business that ended up paying still much higher tariffs when their con boxes arrive than they have in the past, but significantly less than what they were told they were going to have to pay because of the adjustments that have just come through. So, we hope that we don't have trade wars and that these things are instead settled. But what I'm seeing more and more with this, and it's amazing me, is how much our president is getting these things done. And I think that the United States is going to be stronger because of it. And so will we then. It's just the nature of the beast, right? But for a lot of folks, the policy changes in the government are stressing out buyers and sellers, just people. The fear, what's going to happen? That's a real question that's running through people's minds and scaring them to death. And when people get scared, what do?
Pause.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. They hit pause. And it's sad. So many are scared of that market volatility. And I think that we need to know enough about this to be able to speak to it with a brain, which sometimes means we're going to have to study the policies that are in place. Whether we agree with somebody's personality or not, we need to figure out their policies and be able to explain those. It's important stuff because not everybody by any means agrees politically. Mention that, right? We're all on different wavelengths. And that's okay. That's what makes it a really cool community. And in Florida, we are a melting pot. Oh my gosh, we have so many different cultures here that we need to know how to handle it. But we also need to know those cultures. I didn't even go there in this, but we do. I mean, if you put your left hand out to somebody to shake their hand because something's in your right hand, that's offensive to some people. Oh my gosh. And there are reasons why. They may not have toilet paper and where they come from. It's real, and they just wash their hands, but there's a certain hand they use to do these things. You know, if we're dealing with somebody from Japan and we're quick to reach out a hand, that's not what they're doing. If they hand us a business card, what do we do with that business card? We just go, oh, thanks? No. You turn it in the right direction, you look at it, you read it, it's a sign of respect. You call them by name and title and look forward to working with you. Boom, you've honored them. It makes a big difference in their lives, okay? And in yours and in the sales side, but that's also marketing. It's a two-part thing. So higher mortgage rates and affordability. This is really one of those things that we've been watching closely, right? Last couple of years has been brutal. I think it's great now because the higher rates are still holding back some buyers and sellers. That's a fact. They may not have dropped as predicted. Buy downs are opening many eyes, though. What's a buy down mean? People are willing to buy down rates. Builders are willing to buy down rates. Home sellers are willing to buy down rates. Lenders are willing to buy down rates. Come on, guys. We need to market that, the heck out of that, and make sure people understand that. We can get you a lower rate than what you're seeing as the national average. We certainly can. And if we don't, we're not doing our jobs. Okay? Sell low, buy high. Is that what we want to do? No. Sell low, buy low. What's the problem with that? There really isn't any, except it's the fear again that comes along with, I paid this much, I'm only, gosh, I'm going to get out clean. Okay, but then you go make an offer on another several homes. You want to find more than one home to offer for a buyer typically, so that when you make your offer, you can let them know, hey, we're looking at multiple homes, but yours is the first one they wanted to offer on. If you don't accept, we're going to move on to this one. And you can play hardball with that. There's no room for flex in my offer. They either accept it or they don't, and we're okay either way. Just please let me know. I hate it when people do that to me, and we always still come back with countering terms, but I try to leave the price alone if at all possible. So, buy low, sell low. It's really no different than sell high, buy high. It's different mindset, but it's really the same principle. If you're selling high and the market's high, you're going to pay more for the next house you get into. It's just the way it is. So it does still create a certain amount of fear and affordability for people, though. That's real, especially if they're having, getting paid less. The market's changed, and it happens too. High rates are pricing some buyers out of the market. This is especially in the resale market, and we could also say that it is pricing sellers out of the market. So, what happens if somebody bought in a new community 2-3 years ago and paid at the top of the market? Very difficult to get them out. I'm seeing a few short sales popping up. More often than not, I'm seeing people that are willing to try to not have a short sale. And the agents are being wise in the realtor comments where we need to read those carefully and saying, hey, at this price, it's not a short sale. If we go much lower, it will be, and it's going to take more time to get this done. This is a great price right now, and we're beating everybody in the neighborhood at this price. Bring me an offer at this number, and we'll get it done. And sellers are bringing money to the table because they can buy low. Of course, there are those that missed payments and things like that because they were in a bind, and then then they sell and they can't buy right away, but they'll still end up in better financial shape than they are right now. And it's a matter of being able to explain that carefully and with, I don't know how you'd phrase it, even with honor, with respect to these folks, because a lot of people are totally disheartened with the whole thought process, and they feel deflated personally, and they feel like their value has gone down because their home value has. And we need to assure them that's not the case. It's just what's happened, and it's okay. And here's how we can move forward. So demand is lower, and prices are trending in the same direction. That's the interesting thing for people to realize. We have higher inventory and demand is lower, but when that happens, everything trends together. So what's going on in our local market? Our communities are having a large variation in sales from one community to another. I know that personally, I've listed some in communities where I can't get a single showing. And it's like, what on earth? I've spent a ton in marketing. I've put it out there. I've done more open houses than you can enter in the MLS without deleting prior open houses. It's like, holy smokes. And then, some sellers think, well, we'll just go to another agent and they'll do better in some way. It's like, no. And I've seen others that, turn around and sell it to a neighbor for 100,000 under what we were asking for it. And you can't prove that they were actually in an open house, so we don't get anything out of the transaction. And, the reality is sometimes we need to go, man, I hope that worked out well for them. And we wish them the best, right? So community fees are holding back sales in several communities. It's real. And I'm not going to name the communities because it could hurt some that are in those communities, and I don't want to do that. But I will say those that typically have the lower fees, unless they're in the high range homes. If we say, I will name this one, if we're in the Lakewood Ranch Country Clubs, if we're down in the Founders Club, these communities that, heck, even to be in the golf club, you're going to be spending $75,000 initiation fee just to get in there, right? 15 or 25,000 is usually non-refundable to even start to get your foot in the door. When you have people that are in those kind of ranges, they're doing better, and the community fees aren't going to affect them as much. They just typically don't care, providing they get the home that they want and the prestige that they're looking for, and they get to do the things they'd like to do within that community with friends that are there. And we need to just keep pointing towards those things when we're working with those folks. When you have folks that can't afford the fees, why would we show them properties that are in communities that have those fees? It's just a bad idea. I think the first thing you need to do when we're working with buyers is, of course, do our homework, find out what they're looking for, what their payment range is that they're looking for. If they're trying to go up and they say, well, dad's going to give me money or whatever, okay, I need a gift letter. Why don't we start out with that and a pre-approval letter, and then we'll look at those homes. Prior to that, you're wasting your time and theirs, because now you get somebody excited about a home that they can't afford, and they look at other homes and it's kind of like walking somebody around a Christmas tree lot like I did when I was a kid. And I'd show them the perfect tree first that they told me about because I knew where it was on the lot. And then they'd want me to show them another 20 trees around the lot, and I'd spend them all, and they'd go back and buy the first one I showed them. We're not doing them any favors showing them something that they can't afford, though. So now, in the Christmas tree lot, same thing. We could get you this tree, but you said you wanted to spend $75. This one's 200. And that's real because, heck, it's 12 foot and it's perfect and it's the type. All these things add up. Same thing with homes. I mean, they really do relate. So we need to be careful about that. Prices are declining due to high inventory and slower sales. Think days on market. I think that a lot of buyers also think days on market, and we need to explain that carefully to our sellers. We don't want a stale listing. We don't want a listing that shows that it's been on the market, come off the market, went pending, went back to active. It's been out there for almost a full year now, and they're still trying to sell. I think at that time we're probably more beneficial to our sellers, even if it's scary and painful for us to tell them you need to take the house off the market for 60 days. Let's let it refresh. Get your lawn maintenance cleaned up for me again, please. Let's get some fresh mulch down and freshen things up. I think that is something we need to consider when we're working with sellers and we're stuck with a sale that's not happening. With some buyers or sellers, you can't do that, and they're going to end up at short sales, and we need to tell them how that works. And we need to be trained in that, which I think everybody in this room is. And but there's still learning curves with it. It's one thing to get the education knowledge. It's another thing to do them, right? So I'm available for your questions with those.
One thing to get the state license not possible.
Oh, that's a fact. Oh my gosh, right? And so many people think what we do is easy. And it is when the market's ripping and rates are low, and tons of people jump into this business. And then 90% of them are gone within a year. It's just real.
Well, I say that too, because even with the few short conversations that we've had about short sales. Obviously, we all did the training, but
Mhm.
hearing you talk about it, I was like, oh.
Oh, right. So here's the other thing you can do. If you're working with sellers and they're heading that way, get me, I don't care if it's a blind call, get me on a three-way discussion with these folks because I don't have to think about the data that comes out of my head with these things. You guys know that. It's weird to me how the things just come out, but it's after you do certain things long enough, you know all the basics. Do things change throughout the years? Yes. The basics don't. So we can make sure and help cover those bases and get those folks in a comfortable spot. I'll even meet with you with them here. Let's make sure and get them taken care of, right? So we have to be able to express our local market conditions, dynamics to both buyers and sellers. If we can't do that right there, we can't sell. And unless people are truly their own agents and they just signed a deal with you so that they can actually get in the homes they want to see. That happens too. But the reality of it is we need to be able to express this. Hey, look in your community. Look how long these homes have been on the market. You don't want to be there. The ones that have sold are over here, and prices are trending down from there now. It's just reality. Fairy tale time is gone. We're down to rubber hitting the road right now, and we still are because of the volatility in the market. The good part is, as you'll see in a minute, things are happening. We still live where most people that can't afford it want to retire. If you really just keep that in mind, it helps keep your mind right. So, more inventory than we've had in years. Anybody seeing that? How about, I believe we have more inventory than we've seen in the last 5 years. And Yep, and everybody's saying that it's stable and all this, but the fact of the matter is, where we are, they're stably high. You know? So we have the highest inventory we've seen in years, but and our market's out of balance because of it. So we know it's a buyer's market. Anybody that thinks it's a seller's market, they're confusing themselves. They're not listening. They're reading things that aren't accurate, and we need to help them. And or they need to find somebody else to work with because we know what we're doing, and why waste our time, efforts, and money on folks that won't listen to us?
Someone said it was
yeah.
tipping into the buyer's market. Like,
No, it's been firmly.
Feminine.
oh,
Oh, yeah. Right. There you go. That's right. But yeah, full on buyer's market for the last 2 years now. People just were having a hard time recognizing it a year plus ago. So there are less home sales, but mainly with resale homes. I don't know about you guys, but I've been selling both right now, but I am getting people looking more at the builders because of what the builders are doing. And we'll talk about that. Many sellers also feel locked in by their purchasing, here I go again, by their low mortgage rates, right? So if somebody's out there at 2.75, what should we maybe encourage them to do? Yeah, keep it, rent it, and let me show you some creative ways to buy that next house that you want to get into. And the rental market right now, it's averaging about $3,000 a month here locally, just at a standard price. And fact of the matter is that typically covers well over people that are paying 2.75% on their mortgage rates. So people don't realize, oh, if I have a tenant lined up, this is all attributed to my income, and then I can go do this. Cool. Let's see how we can make it work. But if we don't suggest that and talk with people about it, some miss the ball on that, right? And then we can help them get a renter in place. That's part of what we do too. So many sellers do feel locked in, but we need to help them understand that they're really not. But they are locked into making money with real estate, and we like to see them doing it. So sellers are still selling when they need more room for kids, work changes, job relocations, desire different things, are pent up and frustrated with waiting. This is the one I'm finding more and more. People are like, okay, we give, stick me with a fork, I'm ready.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, let's do it. So with that being said, our sales are increasing. I don't, the interesting part is across the market here, I don't know that that's true in a lot of firms because a lot of agents aren't doing what you guys are doing and aren't trained the way you guys are trained. It makes a big difference. So keep looking for those that need to sell. Those that go, wouldn't mind selling. We could sell. We don't have to sell. Yeah, we need to talk to them about that. Well, what's that mean to you? Explore that and let them know, hey, I'm just seeking understanding. If they act like, oh, well, just say, I'm just seeking understanding. I want to know where you're coming from because that's not the market I'm seeing, right? How about looking for sellers that recognize the value in your professionalism and who you are? That's who we want to work with. People that respect that. And if they don't, we need to go, let me tell you what I had to do to get to where I am right now and what I've been doing and how hard I work for you. It's important. Keep prospecting everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, you got to prospect. I don't care if you're at the grocery store. You talk to that clerk behind the counter and practice. Even if she's making minimum wage, someday she's going to be a buyer. And she's going to remember that person that spoke to her and cared, right? Because we don't care, and they're not going to work with you. So, if you can do well in this market, this is important to know. And Ricky, what's his name? Ricky Carruth has been kicking this out there huge. If you can do well in this market, you'll do outstanding in any market you face because this is a different level market. Once you start hitting it in this market, when the market as it is continuing to turn now, sales are going to just go through the roof. It's just the natural beast. And I feel that right now. The momentum's changing. And when it starts to change, we need to stay fully engaged. If we don't, we're going to blow it. We don't want to take long vacations right now. It's not a summer to take time and go to the Keys and do what I love to do down there as much. Can we take a week or 10 days and have everything with us? Yes. Will we still miss things because of that? Yes. Use your team. Let's help each other, okay? So how about this? You got to meet with your buyers and sellers face to face. Your appointments need to be face to face. If somebody wants to discuss all of this over the phone with you, they're just not going to fully understand the value of what you do. If you can get them right here for a short amount of time, use this setup and discuss things with them and show them things, take them through our buyer's guide, take them through our seller's guide, explain the market. It's easy enough to do when you pull up the MLS in here and say, hey, let's look at these days on market. Let's really see how this all works, right? Let me show you. It's all I do all day, every day. I love what I do, and it's fun.
Like, this is your steps.
Sure.
Here's all the numbers that go into it.
Right.
They're just like,
Oh, it's amazing how glazed over some people. They're like, I didn't know. Right. That's why you called me.
Yeah.
Great. I'm a professional in this field. It's all I do. I have the training. I'm going to make you look like a pro. So here's the other thing, right? Keep in touch. For goodness sakes, keep following up. This is one of the easiest and hardest things to do in what we do. We start thinking that, well, somebody ghosted me. They don't want to work with me. I don't know what I did wrong with. They won't respond. And I've tried to reach out to them for 2 weeks now. No, I've had it where it's 3-4 months. People are silent. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, and it happens. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, that's exactly the house I was looking for. Can I see it tomorrow? Yeah, let's do it. So good to hear from you, man. Yeah, thanks so much for keeping in touch and keeping me in the loop on all this. I appreciate it. And in the meanwhile, they weren't even responding to the personal emails that are going, are you all right? You still alive? You out there? I mean, I do send those. I feel like I'm wondering if you're still alive. And that's oftentimes that will get me a call back. Right. I've been looking at the obits. I don't see it. What's happening? Now, those are the things you want to say, but probably don't, right? Because we do live in Florida. Well, we have an older community here. But anyway, just because they ghost you, they're not gone. They're just waiting for you to continue communicating with them and find them the right deals. This has come to the forefront for me right now. Folks that have been ghosting me, quote unquote, are coming out of the woodworks this year. It seems like everybody's going, hey, saw that house you sent me, and oh, you did great. Thanks so much for giving me a hint. Yeah. So important things. This source was from Keller Williams, CEO. For sellers, we're in a market that demands precision. Homes are taking 2 to 3 months to sell. Majority are seeing price drops. Smart pricing and standout marketing make all the difference. It's true. You know, why not do even the brochures in the house that look pretty? Easy enough to do. Minuteman Press will do them for $100 and give you enough to get you through your entire listing. What's fun is when you put those in there and the people really come in and want the other package that you should have beside all of those in your listing, which, you know, if you've got a survey, it's in there. Your MLS is the top sheet. It shows the frequently asked questions. It shows the improvements that have been done to the house. It shows everything about the community. If they're on a golf course, it shows the golf course fees. It shows what they're going to get involved in. That's a simple staple and probably, you know, in the seller's disclosures. No more than 8 or 10 pages, but it's a whole lot of information. And what's fun is I'll have the two side by side. More of those go than the pretty brochures, but people want to see the pretty brochure. It's so interesting to me. For buyers, this is the window. People need to understand there are opportunities now. With inventory steady, up actually, and price flexibility in play, that's real. There's leverage to be had, especially with listings that are sitting longer on the market, right? So why are we looking at days on market for a buyer? We know they're willing to negotiate. If they're not, you know, call that agent first. If they're just not willing to negotiate and that's why they're sitting on the market so long, why waste your time? And that's exactly what I tell them. And I've had that discussion with other agents. For investors, rent remains strong and list prices are softening. Bradenton is showing signs of being a great long-term play for cash flow and equity growth. It is just a fact, okay? So it's fun to see this. The only part I disagree with this is inventory steady. It should say steadily growing because it is because of our builders. How about Florida Realtor News? Stable rates are drawing home buyers. This is a fact right now for us. Moderating borrowing costs along with a rise in for sale signs appear to be luring prospective buyers off the sidelines nationally. And it's how about in Florida, period. First-time buyers are feeling ready. They're optimistic. This is real. Home supply remains a bit constrained. I don't agree with that at all. It's certainly not. Home buyers across the country are seeking alternatives, many with first-time home buyers pursuing new construction. And we'll talk about that for a minute too. So, but I'm going to do that now. New home builders, incentives. Why would a buyer go to a resale if there's a new home that they can get into that is offering, like right now, $20,000 in incentives to get you in there, so you have no closing costs, no prepaids, because they're going to cover every bit of it, and some of them are covering every bit of it. If you're VA, FA, FHA, you're putting very little down. If you're VA, you can get in for $0 down. You do have a funding fee, oftentimes 10, 12 grand, but so what? It's beneficial. And then they end up with a lower rate also because of those programs, right? So mastery, it's the best goal because the rich can't buy it. The impatient can't rush it. The privileged can't inherit it, and nobody can steal it. You only earn it through hard work, and mastery is the ultimate success. I love that, Derek Silvers.